Andy, you were with Danny Rohl earlier on today. Was he in good form?
Well, as always, yeah, confident, sort of determined. Once speaking about the need for this Rangers team to show a bit of courage, going into what is a huge week. He admitted that the team, when he sort of first took over, he had a sense that when he went into some of these big games, these big testing away games, that he could sense a wee bit of trepidation, a bit. I think he even used the word fear from them, but he says he doesn't see much sign of that. So it's going to be a really intriguing two games this week, and the prize is there for Rangers if they want to grab it. Having been 13 points behind when Danny Rohl get the job in October, there's every chance that if results go their way, that they could be top of the table come Sunday. So it really is a monumental week for Danny Rohl and his team.
That is, I'm sort of laughing with incredulity, because how on earth did he get this back? Like you say, 13 points behind at one point, and not only 13 points behind, but they were 13 points behind and didn't really show any signs of life. It wasn't like you were like, oh, they've been unlucky in games. They look, frankly, pretty rotten. So to pull this back is incredible.
Yeah, there's a few articles that I've written at the start of the season and a few Hotline Live appearances where I'd pretty much scoffed at any chance of Rangers getting themselves back into a title race. So we'll need to go into the archives and dispense with them before I get flung back at me. I mean, it's been, what he's done is he's taken this team back to basics. He's, Russell Martin came in this bold, bizarre experiment of his trying to make Rangers into this reincarnation of 2012 Barcelona. Wanted them taking all manner of risks from the back. Really, when he'd only had a month worth of preparation with them, and then seemed surprised when it didn't work. With a pretty rotten summer recruitment drive as well. So, Danny Rohl's come in, got them just doing the simple things, but he's got them doing the simple things well. And bit by bit, they've got themselves, as you say, back right in amongst the leading pack. And I think that the key thing for Danny Rohl is that he's not overreacted either to big wins or to bumps in the road. And I think that's been the key thing. Like, it's only about a month or so they obviously lose at Tynecastle, and I saw so many people at that point writing them off. And he just said, no, listen, well, it's a disappointing result. We'll recover from this. And then obviously a few days later, or a week later, sorry, Hearts lose the Edinburgh Derby, and that opens the door. Again, we saw those kind of comments even just a couple of weeks back after the draw at Easter Road. But, then Hearts go to St Mirren, slip up, and the door is opened again. So, but then as you saw, obviously they beat Celtic. And again, I don't think there was any great pontificating, great statements made at that point. I think he's just kept this sort of calm disposition that he has, and I think that's key for all the teams involved. I think you've seen Derek McInnes trying not to get too high, too low, and I'm sure Martin O'Neill, with all the experience he has, will just be trying to keep players level-headed. Because I think the one thing that will be absolutely certain in the few weeks to come is that there's going to be spills, there's going to be slips, there's going to be all manner of drama, and it's basically whoever keeps their cool best throughout that that will, I imagine, will end up getting to the finish line first.
And I should say that we're getting comments coming in. If you want to get involved in the conversation, let us know your thoughts on anything, within reason. Please do so. John in the comments says, Rohl pulled it back because of two words, Wilfried Nancy. And look, I get John's point to an extent, but the point I was trying to make there was that at one point, you would never have backed Rangers to go on any sort of run. I mean, what is it? I know they won 8 in a row recently. Is it now like 9 of the last 11 games they've won, something like that?
They've won 9 and drawn 1 out of the last 10 domestic games.
Oh, so I mean, how can you say fairer than that? I mean, that is a remarkable run. Mm-hmm. With the same, I know they've signed players now in January, and a couple of them look, really impressive. But it's still early days. But that was
John's entirely right to point out that Celtic had a terrible spell under Wilfried Nancy. But the only people who are responsible for that are the Celtic board. They're the one that made that decision. Rangers fans will sit here and go, well, had the Rangers board picked Danny Rohl as they were considering in the summer, how different would this season look? So listen, if your auntie had what's, then we'll leave it
Aye.
at that. But listen, I think listen, whatever way you want to say who's to blame or why things have happened, the one thing you can be absolutely certain of is it's going to be a brilliant run, and I cannot wait to see how it all unfolds in the weeks to come.
Aye, absolutely. We've got comments coming in, as I say, and we will talk about the Edinburgh Derby and Celtic a little bit later on. But I think we can actually hear from the Rangers manager who was speaking earlier on today ahead of that game against Motherwell tomorrow night. It's going to be great. But here's what he had to say.
We know what we expect in this game, and for us it's the next big challenge on a tough place. I think in the last couple of weeks we were always ready for this challenge, and we took always good results from these big games, and tomorrow is the next step. We go there with confidence, with ambitions, and we have to do a lot of things right tomorrow to win such a game. It feels great at the moment that we have such a run, that we took a lot of wins, less conceded goals, we score goals, all those things that gives us a big belief and trust in what we are doing. But the season is still long, a lot of big games ahead, and for this it makes no sense to look too far away. But if we can continue our way, then there is a chance for more. It's a big job to do this again and again and again and again until the end of the season. And we prepare this, we're ready. The signings in the January helps, of course, is a part because they bring experience, they bring quality, but also my players here deserves a lot of credit so far. I see more and more players come now to 100%, and I think this is the most important key, that you have players, especially in the second half of the season, and this is again the experience in Munich. You need in the crunch time your players on a perfect level, and if you have this, then you have a big chance.
Are you going to the game tonight? Maybe with a little pep scarf or something, or will you just watch?
No, because I will watch it in the evening. But I think general, it makes no sense to cross the fingers for other teams. And this is now the result from the last couple of weeks. We have everything in our hand. If we do our job right, then it's not so important how the results in other places are. Sometimes I make the phone off because I live, calmer instead of I'm looking too much. You never know. Sometimes there's a goal in extra time 7, and then maybe you are too angry. You never know. But in this case, no. Focus on ourselves, make our group better, have a good performance, and deliver tomorrow again a good game, and then we'll see what we get.
We've started something in the comments here, Andy. Your loyal Muppet says Danny Rohl knows how to get the best out of this squad, unlike Russell Martin, who called everyone out on telly except himself. Marzuno, who knows the Celtic man, said, I hate to give Rohl any credit, but he's walked into Glasgow cold in his 30s and known what to say in this mental minefield. Luke says, if Rangers hadn't had Russell Martin, they would have been clear of the rest. However, there's a few people hitting back. Chris says, Roll is a fraud. He didn't even want the job in the first place. He'll be in the English Championship next season. Sean says, after the Hibs game, all I seen was Rangers lacked the minerals to win the league. Our results against Killie and Queen's Park, the reason people now think differently. I mean, whatever happens, whatever people's opinion, this game tomorrow night, Andy, is going to be an absolute cracker.
I mean, it's incredible when you think about it. That's right. Motherwell, last time they conceded a goal at home, Danny Rohl wasn't even in Glasgow. He hadn't even been appointed yet. They lost 2-1 to Falkirk. I think it was October the 18th. Danny Rohl never got the job into the 22nd. So, listen, Motherwell have been incredible this season. I mean, I think the work that Ian Berthelascu has done, it puts a lie to this notion that you can't, implement a style of play from the get-go. I mean, okay, they've not had Europe to contend with, and he has the majority of weeks to drill his players in. But we're talking about guys that were sort of like written off last season, even by Motherwell fans. Your Paul McGinns, these type of guys. I mean, like these are guys that nobody thought could play the brand of football that they're playing, and yet he's managed it, and they are where they are, absolutely fully deserved.